Well, hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today for this masterclass preview webinar. Now we're going for only 30 minutes today and you'll want to stay with us all the way through because there's a special offer that's just for you today and it's worth $1,000 per ticket to you. So what we're going to run through is why within the accounting profession, many of the rock star firms that are the ones that you see up on stage at conferences, winning awards and achieving really amazing things, not just in growing their revenue, but in what they're achieving for their clients as well. Because, winning awards might not be your thing. If you had a choice over an award or a check, many people would take the check. But the point is, there are many rock star accountants now that we have helped go from a place where they weren't sure in how to market their firm in general and didn't know how to market and sell their advisory services. And many of them have described our masterclasses as life-changing events at that professional level. And I sincerely believe that you will too if you join us at the next masterclass. So get your pencil or keyboard or calendar out and we'll just run through some basics for starters in terms of when is it. So it's coming up in about a month's time. So it's a Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, the 29th and 30th of November, and then the Friday is the 1st of November. And you can see on screen some of the, the rock star firms that have come to multiple masterclasses with us over the years. While I'm talking with you, feel free to go to practiceparadox.com.au/masterclass. That will take you to the full webpage that explains masterclass, but don't buy your tickets yet because I'm going to give you a code that today you'll be able to apply. So I'll just recap that again so you take note. Wednesday the 29th, Thursday the 30th, and Friday the 1st. So end of November, start of December. And that market, sell, deliver aspect is just so crucial. And let's look at why. You may have heard me speak before about the value add chasm. That's a phrase that I coined to describe the phenomenon that we all know exists, and many of us are sick of hearing it. And it's our mission to help firms cross this value add chasm, whereby 9 out of 10 accounting firms surveyed in credible benchmarking surveys done by people like Business Fitness with the good, the bad, and the ugly of the accounting profession, and also Spotlight Reporting with their benchmarking of accountancy firms globally. The statistics are very similar no matter who does the survey. So 9 out of 10 firms state that they want to do more value add. But, and here's the chasm, when you look at it, very few are achieving more than 20% in advisory fees. So only 1 in 10 firms is doing very much advisory. And the ones that are doing it, it's kind of just fallen in their lap and happened naturally, which is good. But what's the difference with the 1 in 10 firms that are doing a lot of advisory? Because clearly they are doing something different. Definition of insanity, keep doing the same things and expect or hope for different results. It's not going to happen. So one of our strengths at Paradox is not just talking motherhood statements and rah-rah events and wheel in a bunch of different specialty speakers about different things. That's all fun and those sorts of junkets are great, but we are good at bringing about change, helping you bring about change. And that comes by shifting 4 things that I'll speak to a bit later on. But let's just first look at this phenomenon. Now, just last night, I was listening to an episode of the fantastic, it's a very lively podcast. If you don't listen to podcasts or you're not listening to From the Trenches yet, by David Boyar and Paul Meisner, I recommend it. But in last night's, or I think it came out yesterday, so I was listening to it last night, David and Paul were talking about the findings out of yet another survey, the Accountants Technology Showcase, ATSA Technology Survey. And they were talking about some technology trends, 3 in particular, and 2 of which they didn't see coming. And one of the trends is that around the advisory software space, app space, and we're big fans of people like Spotlight Reporting. They do great stuff and they've got an incredible track record. And there's lots of great tools out there, Fathom, Futurely, etc. And here's one of the trends out of the data is that the use by firms surveyed of those tools is on the decline. That's a little counterintuitive because technology is growing and these apps are becoming more and more efficient. But another finding in the survey done by David Smith of ATSA was that firms' frustration with their inability to sell advisory services is rising. Now, when you combine those things, no wonder people are just giving up. Now, I want you to write down these 4 things, because in terms of bringing about change, there are 4 areas you must address. If you don't address all 4 of them, nothing will change. Now, number 1 is mindset. Now, before you go, oh gosh, mindset, that sounds like a bit of rah-rah. By mindset, we just mean the beliefs that you assume that you may not realize that you've adopted and that might be limiting you. And until, for example, you shift your thinking around aspects of how to market your firm, how to attract clients to your firm who want advisory, nothing will change. And you won't actually see opportunities or change your behavior. So that's number 1, is mindset. Number 2 is skills. So I call this the skills paradox, in that accounting firms spend 98% of their time and dollars on technical professional development. And clearly the technical skills are important. You cannot ignore them. But those skills are not differentiating skills. They're a given. You've got to be good and up to date with the compliance related areas, or people in your firm have to, clearly. But the the skills that will differentiate you, and the firms that have crossed the value add chasm, are those that invest in skills around communicating value. And that's marketing, and that is selling. And even though, you know, David last night said, look, accountants can't sell. And David very kindly mentioned our philosophy around this is because value add advisory services are non-compliance. So therefore people don't have to comply with laws, regulations, etc., to avoid penalties and or worse. People don't have to do them, do they? So you've got to learn how to market them and how to sell them. And we think it's easy, but clearly most of the accounting profession does not. And this is what we'll show you to do. So that skills is number 2. Now, the next thing I used to describe as systems, and I'd say there are 3 things that you need in place to bring about change in your business. So to recap, mindset, skills, and systems. But we actually split that circle out into a 4th one called tools. Now, here's the thing. Apps, as good as they are just tools. To use an analogy, they're like a hammer in a toolkit. Not until they're used well can they actually build something. And the tools don't sell themselves. If they did, all you'd have to do is sign up for a piece of business advisory software, and all of a sudden you'd have just a flood of clients wanting business advisory. That doesn't happen. Just like buying a treadmill or an exercise bike or paying them money to join a gym doesn't make you fit. But it's a tool, and tools are useful. To come back to the 3rd item, systems, and this is one of our strengths, is we give you flow charts and very logical approaches to everything around marketing strategy, to developing content, doing your blogging, social media, email, search engine optimization, what a website should be designed to do functionally, how to measure the effectiveness of what we call your marketing machine. So we teach you the systems. So the systems is your process for marketing, your process for selling, and your process for delivering advisory. Now, can you see how important those 3 things are? And with systems, your choice of tools is then virtually arbitrary. It doesn't matter what brand of hammer you have to some extent, though tradies would have their favorites, and same with you as accountants and business advisors. So they're the 4 things that we help you shift over time. Our masterclasses are true workshops in the absolute truest definition of that word. Workshop gets bandied about a lot. And, you know, I speak at a lot of conferences put on, and usually most events you go to are slide fests. And even the ones that get big numbers, people talk on stage, you sit, you listen, you think, but you don't do anything. At Masterclass, you do things. We give you time to actually implement and document so that you leave, which is why that we offer our 9 in 90 guarantee, which I'll mention later. So they were the 4 things about bringing about change. Now, in terms of delivering advisory, and why the 3 days of Masterclass are structured around how to market, how to sell, and deliver, is that's what you need to do. You need to tick all 3 of these boxes. So marketing, the communication of value one to many, will educate your existing clients and also, crucially, attract to you clients who want to do more than your bog standard services. So you must learn how to market. It is such a disadvantage to not know how to market. Now, that podcast that I mentioned before, From the Trenches, Paul Meisner, one of his little hobby horses, and I love Paul, don't get me wrong, is accountants don't need to market. Well, you don't need to market if you want to just stay in compliance and you just want to grow by default with referrals. Now, referrals, we've got a lot of data on this. Referrals are quite miscellaneous. In fact, I heard Richard Francis from Spotlight Reporting speaking at an event yesterday, and he was retelling the story of when he built his boutique firm, Francis Consulting, he described them as the grannies and the aunties, etc., like the random referrals that were coming from his business clients. And when you build a content-driven marketing machine, the quality of the leads and inquiries you get, and this is counterintuitive, they are better 9 times out of 10 than your average referral because you control the message. You control the content of the blog posts and the webinars and the email newsletters, and your website. So when people come along your conveyor belt, we call it, and they read and consume different parts of your content, they come to you pre-educated and you control that message. You don't control the message with the referrals. So is that to say, let's stop referrals happening? No, we build more leads up on top of that. So you really are behind the 8 ball if you don't learn how to market. And some of the firms that attribute us as catalysts in their success in teaching them key parts of marketing are firms like Consolidate, GrowthWise, Zero Books, Change Accountants, and another couple that I'll share with you in a moment. Now, secondly, day 2, so day 1 of Masterclass is just on marketing. The latest in marketing as it applies to you, and by the way, to any knowledge or expertise-based business. So you can actually bring your clients to this Masterclass, which I'll touch on before we finish up. But day 2, we've had a huge response. In fact, at the event yesterday in Brisbane, speaking to 2 of our members, they said, oh yeah, we're coming primarily for day 2, where you and Nikki Miklos-Woodley are going to run through how to sell. Now, selling is not gift of the gab. Selling isn't something that, if you have the talent for it, yeah, that's all well and good. Selling is a process. There is a mindset, there are skills, there are systems, and there are tools. And we will teach you 2 different processes on day 2. One is how to handle with a team-based approach so that as directors and principals in the firm, your whole sales process is not reliant on you solely. So there's a workflow team-based approach. So handling new inquiries, and also how to do the client share growth process. So that's how to have the conversations, and how, most importantly, how to set up the conversations with your clients about doing other things for them. So to grow their client share, which is our term for the number of services you provide per family group. And you're going to love, personally, I think the entire ticket price of this masterclass just on day 2. Now, some people are just coming for day 2. Now, on our flexible format, this is something new for our masterclasses, and this is our 10th masterclass, by the way. You can come to just day 2 if you want and buy a 1-day ticket, or you can come to 2 or 3 days. If you're going to come to 2 days, you may as well come to 3 because it's the same price. We give you the 3rd day for free if you purchase 2 1-day tickets. Okay, so selling, you're going to love that. Nikki is a legend. We've done a lot of collaboration with her. We've had a real effect of 1 + 1 = 3 or more with the synergy of her experience in sales and mine. And we're developing models like the growth grid, which will enable you to be really clear that there are only 4 different flavors of how to grow your firm or any business. So you're going to love day 2, and lots of experiential learning. Some people can learn just by sitting and listening, but many of us like to actually learn by doing. And that's why people leave masterclass going, well, frankly, that was the best business seminar I've ever been to, not just in the accounting profession, but anywhere, because of the differences that we have with how we teach. We train you. And lastly, there's no point marketing and selling something if you can't deliver it. So we've got a lineup of speakers. There's, in addition to myself and Nikki that I've mentioned, we've also got Guy Pearson from Practice Ignition. And Guy will be talking about the how to run a sales meeting when using the latest technology, and how to have that segue from sales to them wanting to go ahead, formalizing the engagement, and having it incredibly well streamlined from that sales and engagement process into onboarding and job setup. And that is not a software demo of Practice Ignition. This is a thought leadership piece on this is how you do it. And, you know, coming from Always Interactive, his own firm, before he founded Practice Ignition, this is, to use the phrase, the name of the podcast earlier, from the trenches advice. So that's Guy, and he's speaking on day 2 as well. And on day 3, I'm speaking also. Stuart McLeod, one of the co-founders of Carbon, is speaking about how to deliver on your promises. So how to actually set up engagements from the start so that you underpromise and overdeliver, and how you can support and collaborate using not just the latest tools, but the best in practice processes to really wow your clients. And when you combine all 3 of those, you will, I guarantee you, you just will. You will cross the value add chasm. You become competent in how to market your services and your firm as a whole, competent in how to sell, and competent in delivering. Well, you tick all the boxes. And frankly, that is where you win. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, look, that's all good in theory, but who is actually achieving anything with this? I'll share 2 examples with you. One I've never shared before. This one, if you've been to some of our webinars, you may have seen recently. Matt Sharwood. Love Matt. He's been working with us for a few years now, and he's a sole practitioner, regional firm in New South Wales in Bathurst. And he came to us because he had a frustration. And I don't know if you can relate to this frustration. And it was that his engagements were done in a way where new client would start and just do the basics, would do the annual accounts prep and lodgements, and, you know, the quarterly lodgements, etc. And his average client engagement in that first year was 2,800. But here's the really frustrating thing that I think we can all relate to. Matt had invested many tens of thousands of dollars over the years in going to courses in how to be a business coach and how to be an advisor. And he had a massive toolbox, if you like, of apps and methodologies and frameworks for consulting, but he wasn't getting to do it. He was on the other side with the 9 out of 10 firms who wanted to cross the value add chasm, but hadn't. Now, Matt is a great listener, and he's a great implementer. We've taught Matt not just how to market, but also how to sell, so that when his clients, new clients, come on board, it's not a matter. This is the old school way that's taught. And look, name any of the top 5 consultants and coaches to the accounting profession. I'll give you a list of their advice that I disagree with because it's out of date, doesn't work. And one of them is the idea of the, you know, just get the client on board with whatever, and then later on, with your needs review checklist or your cross-selling checklist or your app or whatever, upsell, cross-sell. Big problem with that is their perceptual box, a pigeonhole, if you like. The concrete has set, they've got you pigeonholed. That's why we talk about, one of our mantras is to help accountants and advisors break out of that box, because it's a perceptual box that your accountants is very real. You cannot even have the conversations with your clients if they've got you in the box of, yeah, they just do my tax. Oh, they just do my bookkeeping. Very difficult. So we taught Matt an approach that, you know, throws out the window old school things too, like menu of services. Menu of services is such a bad idea. Have a menu of services, but it is not at all useful in marketing, and it's not useful in selling. And I won't go into today why, but we've got a framework that works far better for selling advisory, in a way that Matt says that now when people sign up, he said they're shaking his hand. Some of them are even hugging him, and they're saying, I've been looking for an accountant like you all my life. And these people come in wanting advisory because they're reading his blog posts, they're following him in social media, they're seeing the messages and basically the vibe, if you like, of what he's about, which is, as you can see, that's a screenshot from Matt's website, which our Paradox preferred partner, we came up with his name, we did his logo, did his branding. That's not the point here. He wants to attract people that want to grow. If you're in small business and you don't want to grow, you just want to maintain the status quo, Matt will not actually accept you as a client, and that's fine. Now, are we saying that's what every firm should do? No, that's just his strategy, which we helped him formulate. So now he's at a point where the average new client engagement is $8,000 to $10,000, and it's happy, happy times. He's added $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue in MRR, so $1.2 million per annum in advisory alone. And one of the best phrases I've ever heard from a Paradox member is, MC, we're growing and we're not even trying. Now, that sounds like an overstatement, but what he means by that is he's getting inbound leads, people are lining up at his door. Forget about outbound marketing where, you know, you pound the pavement, knock on doors, reach out to people on LinkedIn, prospect. Anyone who does cold calling and outbound, really, there's one small exception, but they just don't know how to market. You should have leads coming to you, and that's what will help you achieve. So that's Matt. If you're wondering why, you know, the sizes of firms that we deal with, we work with one-person startups. We've worked with, you know, big four firms, but usually we work with the smaller, nimble, entrepreneurial firms, 1 and 2 partner firms. We can work with larger firms as long as they have a good decision-making structure and they don't have a paint-on CEO who calls him or herself the CEO or managing director, but they're still making decisions by consensus and committee. Geez, you'll move at glacial speeds. That's a recipe for mediocrity in business. So if you can make decisions and be nimble, we can help you no matter your size. Oh, by the way, that story that I just paraphrased very briefly, if you want to see the full interview, it is on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/practice paradox. If you do check out that later, make sure you click the subscribe button because we add our webinars, our public webinars to that, and you get notified. There's more to that story. Now, another story. Here's a large firm, and they came to their first masterclass the last time we ran one in July, and it was on strategy, and we taught the 7 big rocks of strategy. And Neil Sinclair, one of the partners at WK Advisors and Accountants, so here's a large multi-partner firm. They're a regional firm, but they're big for a regional firm, they're big for any size firm. And they came to us already being a high-achieving firm, but again, they weren't doing as much advisory as they wanted. And to give you an idea of their caliber, they'd won, I think, I joked to them over Twitter because they got another award last Xerocon South. They've been the Xero Partner of the Year in New Zealand as well. I think they got 100% cloud last time. So their trophy cabinet's full was the joke. So they're already a really good firm. They really get a lot of aspects of marketing already, but they had missing pieces. And we ran into Neil and some of his team members that they'd brought across the ditch to Xerocon in Melbourne a few months ago. And that's a little snap that we took there on the phone. That's Neil next to me there on the left and 4 of his team members. And he was saying, oh man, MC, that value pyramid that you ran through has totally changed our business. And I went, really? And being in marketing, I said, you mind if I document that as a testimonial? I got out my iPhone and there's this really cool app called Just Press Record. But anyway, I said, okay, tell me about that. And here's part of what Neil said to me right there, just before or after we took that photo. He said, Paradox's advice has helped us make a massive difference to the focus of our business. And we're now doing amazing work with our clients. Now, by the way, by that, he means it's just so much fun. They're kicking goals for their clients. Their clients are loving it. Sure, the clients are paying more fees, but it's just such a win-win-win situation. The firm wins, the clients win, and the team wins. He said, part of what he also said is that they've been battling, was the word, for the last 2 or 3 years, trying to do more advisory, and it wasn't working. Now, just one of our models. And by the way, we create IP. We don't just read business books and then regurgitate it to you and put it into a list and claim it as our own. We're actually thinkers. We have patents awarded to our thinking in various areas. So anyway, we give you original material that you won't hear anywhere else. To continue this quote here, he said, I'd go so far to say it's been life-changing for us because it's taken us to the next level, which is bloody awesome. His words, not mine. So Neil's good down-to-earth bloke. So that's a firm that was already succeeding, but now they're truly crossing the value-add chasm, which for a firm of their size is going to be very, very significant in many ways. So now let's just run through. Here's the offer. You'll probably want to get your pencil out or get your laptop or tablet ready because I'm going to give you the instructions for today's offer. Now, to qualify for this offer, to join us at Masterclass, you must purchase your tickets today before 5 p.m. Queensland time. Now, Queensland time, we have like real time. Some other states have make-believe time. I think they call it daylight saving. So that time in other states it's 6 p.m. if you're in New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, ACT in Australia. It's 8 p.m. in New Zealand. It's 5:30 in South Australia. It's 3 p.m. in WA. Australia has more time zones than America. That's my head in. Anyway, in Queensland time, by 5 p.m. today, you must purchase your tickets to get this offer, which I'm about to explain. Now, the promo code, they call it, which you'll type in and press a little button to apply the discount that I'm about to share, is MClass10 Preview. So M class for masterclass, M class 10, number 1, number 0, preview, all capital letters, all one word. So note that down. If you go to practiceparadox.com.au/masterclass, that will then redirect it to the full page with a longer URL than that. And there you can read everything about it. You can read about the 9 in 90 guarantee, where we just know that if you implement the action plan, you'll generate easily 9 times in revenue what you pay for your tickets within the next 90 days. Like, it's a no-brainer in terms of achieving that, which is why we offer you the guarantee. So here's what you'll get today. By purchasing today, before that deadline, you'll get an extra $400 off per ticket, which is on top of early bird, which in itself is saving you $600. So you're good with numbers, I hear. So that's $1,000 in total per ticket if you buy today. Now, if you buy your tickets tomorrow, it's still early bird, but early bird expires tomorrow. But tomorrow you'll save $600 per ticket. Today you'll save $1,000 per ticket. So it's $400. You're better off saving that $400 because you can put it on the bar at Masterclass and buy us all a round of drinks. Now, one of the bonuses as well, we've had a lot of people who bought their tickets go, oh, do you have any sort of deal if we bring more team members, or can we bring our clients? Every third ticket you purchase is free. So every third ticket is free, whether that's someone from your team or whether that is a client. Now, the ideal clients to bring are people that would benefit in their business from learning how to sell services, knowledge, expertise. So anyone in professional services, anyone in technology, anyone where basically they're selling their know-how. So particularly business to business area. Now, the way that it works is when you go on, if you want 3 tickets, just purchase 2. And then we send you a link where you tell us the people that are coming. You fill out that little web form 3 times. That tells us the 3 ticket holders. Now, Bella, are there any questions to address that have come through? No. So
one person did ask privately if there's a recording of this webinar.
Yeah, I'll talk to the team about that later. Now, maybe. Let's see. I'll just show you the page that you'll go to, and I'll just want to show you on screen how you order your tickets, because there's just a few little clicks to do. Now, that countdown right there, I might just zoom up in my monitor. So that countdown is to early bird, which, as I mentioned, expires tomorrow. You want to take action today to get the extra $400 per ticket. So you click the secure tickets button. There's a few of those down this page, and that brings up another tab, order form, where you select your ticket. So if you want to buy just a 1-day ticket, you can, if you want to come to, say, day 2, or if you want to purchase all 3. So the one on the left is a 1-day ticket. The one on the right is a 3-day ticket. We're not selling any 2-day tickets because, as I mentioned, you get 3 days for the price of 2. So let's say you're going in for 3 days. You click that and you come through, and you know the promo code that I mentioned? You just enter it in here, M class 10 preview, and click apply. And in a moment that the dollar figures change. So that applies the discounts there. Now, for additional tickets, you put your mouse over here, click it up to 2, click update, and it adjusts it there. Fill out your details, pick which credit card you'd like to do, place the order, then you get the email back where you tell us who comes, because maybe the person purchasing the tickets is your assistant or something, and he or she might not actually be coming to the masterclass. So that's why we do it in 2 steps like that. So have a look at that webpage. You'll see in detail what you'll learn. And when you do tick those boxes, learn to market, learn to sell, learn to deliver, you will grow a high client share firm with greater fees per client because you're providing more services per client. You'll attract better staff because people are looking for meaning in their work. You'll retain your advisory team better. Like Neil Sinclair, who I showed you earlier from WK in New Zealand, the distinction that we gave him allowed him to separate one advisory team into financial, into the middle 3 layers of the value pyramid of 7 layers, and a different team on strategic for the higher level. And that's working so well for the team as well, because they're not feeling that they're being required to do something that they're really not suited to. So have a look through here. You'll see who should attend. You'll see sprinkled through there some of the people that come to our masterclasses over and over again. You'll see why we're different to others, and we really are. This is not a conference and a junket. Sure, you have a good time, but you really are. You'll learn things that will give you the best year in business that you've had to date. And lastly, recap of the presenters. You'll hear from myself, founder of Paradox, MC Carter. You'll learn from Nikki, absolute dynamo, so knows her stuff around selling. You're going to love day 2. Stuart is one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet. And the things that he's going to teach around the workflow and delivery aspects around delivering advisory is going to be fantastic. And Guy, so, it's a stellar lineup of speakers, and you're going to be in a room for 3 days with these guys and other incredibly switched on accounting and advisory firms. So I'll leave you with it to get online, get your tickets before that deadline today, which gives you another 5 hours and 27 minutes to secure those tickets. And I and the whole Paradox team really look forward to you joining us in such a gorgeous location on the beach at Sunshine Coast in Queensland, about an hour 20 north of Brisbane. You can fly straight into Maroochydore, and the airport's like 3 minutes away, or you can fly into Brisbane and then get a transfer up. Either way, easy to get to, and you'll have a ball and make some life-changing decisions and actions for your firm for the coming year. Thanks for joining me for today, and we'll see you at Masterclass. Bye for now.